Welcome back to BNC Live. You just heard from President Biden. People around the country are still trying to understand how another mass shooting on school grounds has taken place. Many now wondering what this means for our educators. Joining me right now is Texas Board of Education member Staci Childs. Thank you so much for being with us today. Staci, teachers are dealing with so much, especially in Texas. Just last week, it was the anniversary of the Santa Fe High School mass shooting. What is the tone today among you and your colleagues?
It's very saddening. Last night, I was on the brink of winning the State Board of Education race here in Houston, Texas, and in District 4, but it was a very sad time. 19 small children were massacred and murdered, as well as their teachers. So as I think about what my platform will be and what I can do to make sure that schools are better in Texas, I'm thinking, how can we make sure our teachers are safe to go to work and how students can feel safe to go to school, which is something they have to do every day.
And speaking to that, if it's not COVID-19, it's a mass shooting. Teachers in this environment are fearing for their lives. What is being done to keep them safe?
That's a good question. Firstly, when we think about this shooter and this killer that did this awful thing, where was the mental health resources that he needed to prevent this? And moreover, where were the mental health resources for the teachers and the students so that they can get through this? There are teachers and students that are going to have to survive this and deal with the trauma and the aftermath of what they saw last night and yesterday for the rest of their lives. And what are we doing about that? So there needs to be a real conversation around safety in schools, but also how can we fix this mental health crisis that we're in?
You're exactly right. This will change their lives forever. A lot of people arguing right now the state is trying to regulate what can be taught in the classroom instead of working to solve problems like gun issues. What are your thoughts on that?
Real life is happening to teachers and students every day. And while we do have to keep our students safe, shielding them from having open, honest conversations about what's going on in their world is not going to help. So as the next state board member, my job will be to encourage legislators to make sure that we can have open, honest discourse in the classroom, and we can make sure that students know the truth about what's going on, of course, at their levels, because that is what is going to be needed to protect them in society.
During the pandemic, so many educators left the profession, and reports just out show that we're going to continue to see that drop in teachers for this next school year. That's terrifying. How are you responding to that? And then also taking into consideration all that teachers are up against, because you can understand why they would want to leave the classroom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I am going to use my voice and to leverage my voice to make sure that teachers know you're still supported, you're still valued, you're still cared for, and I will do my part to make sure that I support teacher pay increases, because that's far overdue, and to make sure they feel safe while they're in schools. And whatever measures need to be taken to protect our teachers, I will make sure that I am an advocate for that. Because we have been expecting teachers to be superheroes day in and day out, and they have come to school to teach our babies and to teach our children. Now it's time to stand in the gap and protect them and show them that we value them and that we care for them.
You're exactly right. We expect them to be superheroes, but we're not even paying them livable wages. It's disgusting. What would you like to see change?
I want to see teachers being paid more. I don't want to see teachers literally in fear of their lives when they're going to work, but then not able to go home and feed their children or go home and decide what bills they're going to pay. That's disgusting. So if we're going to put teachers on the front lines to protect our kids and to literally fight for their lives while they're in school, we should give them an honest living wage. And I want to see that changed. And I also want to see teachers supported. If they need more professional development, if they are crying out and saying that they need something from administrators and from school districts across Texas, I need to see that happen.
Staci Childs, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insight with us today.